We are back. New York City Baseball, past, present, and future. I'm Ralph Tyko. My co-hosts are Alan Blumkin from New York. Alan, how are you?
Okay.
And Marty Rose from Jacksonville, Florida. How you doing, Mert?
Doing fine, thank you.
Good. We talked a little bit about the weather in New York off the air. You got a hot spell going, Alan, huh?
Yeah. You want to hear something insane? I heard a report that the tickets for Friday night with the A-Rod, quote, retirement, unquote, going minimum for $450 and maximum for over $10,000. I wouldn't pay 10 cents to see that.
You could really have to pay $10,000 for certain seats.
They're really,
I don't know about that.
You know, I mean, it's just the way it is.
Oh, I guess that's, what do they call it when they resell
the secondary market?
Secondary
market. Okay. Wow.
$300-400 probably for most seats.
Yeah. So. And I went to Yogi Berra Day. I went to Whitey Ford Day. I was at Willie Mays night in Shea Stadium many years ago. And the only reason I missed Mickey Mantle Day is because I was with my reserve unit in Fort Knox for the summer camp.
We have 3 military men here, so
yeah.
Here we go. That's pretty good.
My son-in-law's at Fort Knox right now.
Really?
That's right.
Wow.
Yeah.
Very cool.
He's in the regular army?
Yeah, he's first lieutenant. Mm-hmm. Yep.
I did not know until recently what the Mickey Mantle Day that you referred to in 1969. I know Mert wasn't there. I certainly wasn't there. But I saw something on YouTube. Maybe you and I, or the 3 of us, talked about this. It was epic. They brought out everybody and their dog, and they stood up for Mantle and clapped. It must have been 20 minutes. Brought goosebumps. It's on YouTube, the full thing. It's unbelievable. I can't imagine another New York athlete being as loved as he was.
He was being booed. In the late 50s, you had a mediocre year for him in 1958, a bad year for him in 1959. And then they got Maris from the A's. And then when they both threatened the home run record in 1961, Maris became the bad guy and Mantle became beloved.
Right.
I was witness to this.
Yeah, but he became so beloved. It did bring goosebumps, and I was not a Yankee fan. I was a Yankee worshiper when it comes to looking back. Didn't think of it in those terms then, but God, there were some tremendous teams. In two different eras when I was a kid, the 49 to 53 era, and then they come right back after losing in 54, and they come right back to go another 5-6 years of being right there. It's unbelievable. We're blessed.
They won 14 times in 16 years and 10 World Series. Nobody will ever come close to that again, especially the way things are done now.
Well, they changed the rules after that, right? With the draft and all that.
Oh, yeah.
Way back then, you could just sign anybody with it. If you had a big checkbook, you could sign any kid you wanted, right?
Yeah, a lot of those bonus babies were busts. A lot of them were big busts.
Mm-hmm.
But the Yankees stopped spending money on scouting and signing people.
Yeah, when Topping and Webb decided to sell out,
right.
The first thing that goes when owners decide to sell out is the money that's put into player development. So when they decide to get out,
it doesn't show up. You can't see it right readily.
They got old. There's nobody really to replace them.
Right. And few guys didn't pan out. Guys like Jake Gibbs didn't pan out to everything he was going to be, and it got bad there. It got bad. Great book. Fritz Peterson, who's been on these airways, wrote a great book about the Horace Clarke years. Yeah, and Fritz is an incredibly bright, funny guy.
He's on Facebook all the time.
Right. Very well-spoken guy.
Also a lot, yeah.
Good. We're going to have John Delkos join us in a little while. John has been on, too, and he writes what I consider to be I won't say the best, because I don't want arguments, as good a Mets blog as there is. You get an awful lot of insight from him, and he wrote a blog conjecturing what would have happened if the Mets had signed A-Rod in 2002, I think it was. And that's very interesting speculation about that. I want to ask you guys, and I wanted to ask Peter Golenbach on a show I did with him last night, this very question with A-Rod retiring. Do you think it was in the best interest of the Yankees when A-Rod was signed to move him over to third and keep Jeter at short, to keep Jeter happy, keep his ego going, or whatever it was? I think A-Rod had much more range at the time, and I think it would have been a much more natural fit for Jeter to have gone over to third, and I think they were hurt by that. What do you guys think?
I think you're right that Jeter, I think, would have had problems doing it at that point because he was the Yankee at that point already.
Right.
And to ask him to
but if you're the Yankee and if you're the captain, shouldn't the Yankees be in his best interest, in his headset? I mean, he gets a lot of credit for being this lily white, no pun intended, kind of guy. Never a scandal, never, got along with everybody. But I thought that was a selfish act. I think when they got him, we forget, just steroids aside, just how great A-Rod was in his day. And part of it was his range at short. What do you think, Mert?
No, I agree. The only thing is maybe because, third base is considered a power position, that A-Rod would have fit better there. I don't know how Jeter would have been at third base. Jeter had a good enough arm. His range, A-Rod in his prime, I think, had better range than Jeter did. And, they were similar in age, but, there's no way that they were going to move Jeter off short. That was never going to happen. It probably never even came up. I don't even think the Yankees would have had the cojones to even ask him to move, So
I don't remember if it did come up, but it seemed to me as an outsider looking in that it would have been a natural thing, but that was just
Jeter was it was his team. He's like a god in New York for Yankee fans. Yeah. He could do no wrong, and A-Rod come in with his baggage. The thing that shocked me, if you want to talk about A-Rod a little bit more, was when Hank Steinbrenner re-signed him after he opted out. I was shocked at that. I was shocked. I can't believe that they gave him 10 more years at that kind of money, knowing that these last couple of years obviously had to end like it played out.
Right.
Of course, you haven't heard of Hank since either,
Yeah. They did with Sabathia.
After that, he disappeared into the woodwork.
Right. Not like his dad, who would make move after move. What were you saying, Alan?
They did that with Sabathia also. He opted out, and they competed against themselves. Nobody was going to pay him what he was asking for, and Sabathia's, from what I've seen this year, he's had it also.
Yeah, he's another guy on fumes.
Yeah.
Well, they certainly did well in getting rid of Chapman and getting rid of Miller in terms for what they got back in potential prospects.
Well, Miller, I was surprised because they still have 2 years of control on him.
With Miller?
Yeah.
Yeah. But they got...
Well, they
but
got,
the
what,
prospects
four guys? Didn't they get 4 guys from the Cubs for him?
Yeah, from Cleveland.
Yeah.
So 3 prospects and plus Adam Warren. So, look, they're trying to rebuild their whole system, basically. So, they got 4 guys for Chapman, and they got 4 guys for Miller, and then they got some other guys for
Beltran.
They got 3 guys for Beltran. So, geez,
I don't believe he brought that much. Still,
got 11 guys for 3.
Yeah, so they have a
Some
way
of them
it's not going to be long until they're back in business, the way I see.
Yeah, some of them are pretty highly rated,
Some Einstein posted that Mark Teixeira should be a Hall of Famer.
Yeah. Well, he's like a Mattingly guy in this. When they'll look back on it, had he stayed healthy.
Mattingly was a better hitter than Teixeira ever was.
It's not the Hall of Very Good.
No.
Right. That's true.
It's just not. So.
But he's certainly a good ball player. Certainly a good hitter.
No question.
Not Mattingly and not a Hall of Famer. That's for sure.
No.
Who do you've been studying up a little bit, Mr. Blumkin, on some of the guys the Yankees picked up? Do you think anybody stand out to you that?
Clint Frazier that they got from the Indians is supposed to be all world.
Okay.
Yeah, they may bring him up in September after the minor league season ends, but no probability he won't be up till next year.
He was the 5th overall pick in 2012.
Yeah.
So, very good.
Yeah, the reason the Miller deal surprised me is because he was still under contract at less than $10 million, which is reasonable in these days, for another 2 years. I guess maybe.
Well, this might have come along just at the time when Cleveland needed that relief pitching, and they needed it badly, and they'd give up more than they normally would, and they probably
Chapman
went to
and Beltran were both rentals. They're free agents at the end of the season, so to get something for them rather than let them walk away for nothing.
Right.
It was understandable.
I understand it. How about the Mets? What do you think's going on, Mert?
Well, I think they're in trouble. The pitching is just not what we all thought it was going to be when the year started. Obviously, I mean, just look at the starters. I mean, DeGrom is the only guy right now that you can count on. For a very good outing. Cologne, as long as he's not facing like a hitting team like Detroit, he's okay too. He's been very good. He's for his age, you can't take anything away from him. But Matz has not been good lately, and Syndergaard, he's just he's close, but you could see that he just can't put these guys away. Guys he was striking out, last year, too many foul balls. He's got 100 pitches in the sixth inning because he can't put guys away. I'm assuming it's the bone chips. He can't throw the big breaking ball.
Right.
That has to be it. Then they're not going to say that, but it has to be that. I mean, he's only 23, so it has to be that. And they don't even have a fifth starter now. They were talking about taking Verrett out of the rotation, and they didn't name anybody to take his place. I was going through.
They might be looking at Nice.
Oh.
I know.
I'm so glad the Pirates got rid of that.
Alan is a Pittsburgh fan, so you laughed at that.
Pirates gave Walker away for nothing.
I know.
I was actually the possibility now that Dilson is gone, and that was a big loss, very underrated. I mean, we needed Bruce, we needed that power, but very highly regarded Dilson with some major league experience and still about 21 years old. They're talking now about having to meet Walker's demands a little bit and either extend him or somehow sign him.
I made the comment on the Pirate chat group that Nice wasn't good enough to even be in innings either.
Well,
no.
That's
I was looking at the roster.
We're talking about the attrition now of Harvey.
Yeah.
Thor not being Thor, Mats not being Mats.
No.
Cologne being, 43-year-old guy, 42 or whatever he is. He's a miracle to start with. So who'd have thunk that they're shaky that way? And let me ask you guys, because I didn't hear Diaza, his wrist from yesterday, was that
negative?
Was his X-rays negative?
Yeah.
Oh, so he's going to be all right.
I imagine he's sore, but they're not going to DL him. He's okay.
Oh,
will be
that's a biggie because he's about the only guy that can play legitimate center field. That
he's been playing very well out there.
Granderson's been doing much better in the field of late. Maybe it's my imagination, but
no, he has been. I think so.
Yeah,
but
give him a lot of credit.
He's
that.
35.
And Conforto seems to have gotten his stroke back a little bit. He's hitting doubles to the opposite field. Loney's been a godsend because Duda's not coming back. Heard today that Wright might indeed, feels very positive, cross the barrier, and might is more than likely to be back next year. Which
I saw that today too. That was a bit of a surprise. Yeah.
Big surprise. That would be very nice. Again, New York being different than anywhere else. A guy like Rodriguez, a guy like Wright, names make a difference. The reason they probably extended these guys puts butts in the seats, and that's important. Let's put it that way. So Wright coming back would be a big boom. Reyes is on his way back, and Wheeler might be coming along. He's been pitching in some rehab games.
Well, he just pitched one inning, and then it rained on him. So I think he only threw like 23 pitches.
Okay,
but he was in the 90s.
Not a setback or anything.
No.
Okay.
Just it was a rain out after that. So.
Yeah, because they've been putting that off for a long time, extending the time when he was about due back. So.
Yeah.
That's good, and they came out of it not trading their number one shortstop, their number one prospect, I think is Rosario.
Rosario? Yeah, no.
Which is good.
I read that
he's about 2 years away?
Sour on Herrera.
Pardon me?
There was the Mets Mets are trying to sour on Herrera.
Yeah,
what
really?
was
the story with that? Yeah, they seem to. You would think that they would have, brought him up earlier, or at least been. He wasn't even in the conversation. So yeah, that leads me to believe that they did sour on him for some reason. I never got the full story on that, but well, we'll see what happens. See if he ever, makes it on Cincinnati or not.
There's a lot of opportunity there. Yeah.
Yeah, Cincinnati has really been down of late. I wish they would have gotten Jerry Votto. I think he could have helped them along the way. The guy I really wish they would have gotten was Ben Zobrist. That was one flexible guy that really could have been a help.
I don't think it was that much about the money. He wanted to be in Chicago because he lives either there or near there. Plus he played for the manager before. So.
Right. They've got a pitcher named Carl Hendricks on the Cubs who is turning into an ace. The guy is 9-3 with a ERA in the low twos on the Cubs. He's been pitching extremely well lately. So
Hey, Mert, I got to give you credit for identifying what could be the reason that the Met early on, way back, identifying the reason that the Mets pitching has suffered, and it's the extended innings for young pitchers that they pitched last year. Plus the playoffs.
Yeah, sure.
It was comes back to get you. But then again, that's against all the things that we were taught. These old guys that pitched 250 innings year after year. The more you pitch, the stronger you get.
Yeah, so, they weren't throwing it up there at 98 either. Those guys.
Now
that might have something to do with it.
Years ago, that the pitchers that don't throw much before they're 25, and they mentioned Warren Spahn and Nolan Ryan that they can last a lot because when they start throwing a lot, their arms are matured. Spahn, was in the military before he got to that age, and Ryan, was up and down until he got to that age. And if you don't pitch very much before you're 25, the chances of lasting longer are better.
Good, very good point.
Well,
very
also,
good.
Your Giants, Ralph, every other year, every other year they're pitching into November, and every other year they're not. So you can't discount that either,
No, not
that's
at all.
part of the whole thing. Too many innings.
Speaking of the Giants, Bochy was taken ill today, and he's going to miss tonight. He's had some heart problems before where they put some stents in.
Oh, really?
Yeah, this is pretty much the same symptoms, and
because I didn't hear anything like that. I put the beginning of the game on because they're playing the Marlins, and I put the beginning of the game on. They just said he was hospitalized, and they didn't go into any detail. So I didn't know.
Feeling ill, so good vibes go out to him. This is one super manager. I mean, the whole organization. That is Sabian on down. It is terrific. So
they haven't playing well.
Hope he does. Hope he does well. Yeah.
They have a one-game lead over the Dodgers as of today.
That almost amazes me. I don't know whether to be more amazed that the Dodgers are hanging in there, or less amazed that the Giants, who had like a 7-8 game lead way back, have just kind of gone in the tank a little bit, and we'll see what happens. It's not a very strong division, and
I'm amazed at the Dodgers with their pitch without Kershaw. They have.
Right.
I've been watching some of their games. Their starters go 5 1/3 innings.
Yeah.
They're burning out the bullpen.
Yeah.
And somehow they're staying right there. I don't know. I don't get it. I don't know how they're doing it.
I don't root for the Dodgers ever, except for maybe when Koufax was pitching. But I rooted for them this weekend because they were playing my least favorite team in the major leagues, the Boston Red Sox.
Yeah.
For reasons of?
Well, reasons of, I think that those fans up there are more obnoxious than the ones here, and the fact that after they won in 2004, there was about 80 books that came out, including one, somebody put out a book, Now I Can Die in Peace. The next year, the White Sox won, and they had about as long a streak as the Red Sox, and there were 3 books that came out, 2 of which were on the Black Sox. So the Boston fans are incredibly whiny.
How do you think they're going to treat A-Rod this week?
Oh, they're going to love him up there. That's assuming he sticks his head out of the dugout.
Should be funny as hell. Oh my God.
I still that playoff series when he tried to knock the ball out, or I mean, that was just, and I was rooting for. That was at the point where I was just figuring, I'm a New Yorker. You can't root against New York, that kind of thing. And I'm really rooting hard for the Yankees, and he does that, and I just said, wow, this is. I wasn't meant to root for the Yankees, I guess, but
no.
That
doesn't sound right, Ralphie.
Do you remember, Mert, that we used to go to Rockaway Beach and sit there in 1960 when Detroit was up, would play the Yankees on Sunday, and Charlie Maxwell would invariably hit a home run against the Yankees.
Yeah, I know. We went to Rockaway quite a bit, yeah.
Quite a bit. We'd sit on the beach, and then we'd get up, we'd sit for a while, we'd go in the water for a while, and then we'd have a catch. We'd have a Spalding, and we'd have a long ball catch. That was good times, Mert.
Yeah.
Only 50 years ago. 60 years ago. Oy.
Yeah. Don't remind me.
Well, in 61, I went during the summer to 4 Sunday doubleheaders, and the Yankees were 4-4 of the games. They lost 4 of the games, 16 games that they lost at home all season. I saw Mantle hit 2 home runs and Maris not hit any. I was at a doubleheader when they played the Orioles Sunday, and they scored 1 run in the second game, and that was it for the day. So
fans today don't even know what a doubleheader is unless something is rained out.
Yeah.
You know, day, night, and stuff. We thrived on doubleheaders.
Oh, yeah.
We love them.
Oh, yeah.
Yep.
And what I remember about a Yankee doubleheader is Mantle naturally would play the first game. And in between games, they get around to putting up the lineups for the second game. And invariably, Norm Seaburn would be in center field, and Mantle would not. And you can hear, they put the lineup, and you'd read, you'd hear everybody combined,
favorite Mets story was in 1970. One of the years in the early 70s, the banner day was rained out on a Sunday. So they made it between games of a 20 doubleheader against the Phillies. They sent all the people with the banners back behind the center field gate after the 7th inning, and the game went 18 innings. They were out there for over 2 hours with the banners.
My favorite banner of all, you guys tell your favorite banners, and then I'll tell mine.
We love the Mets, right, Keneal?
Okay.
I don't know.
Can you think of one? Mine was Ed Kranepool. Remember, he was 19 years old.
Yeah.
Ed Kranepool is over the hill.
Right out of James Monroe High School, man.
Absolutely. Well, we thought, we'll get the next Lou Gehrig come out of that one, but or Hank Greenberg, I think it was.
Yeah.
That didn't happen.
My mother went there.
Oh, really?
Yeah, I was at that 23 inning game, which was the second game of a doubleheader.
Yeah, I watched that
on
TV,
Memorial Day weekend. I forget what year it was, but it was
64. That was the first year.
Was it? Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. And I was with Ralph and I's friend the Bear, who also was a Giant fan, and we had to go to school the next day. We were like seniors in high school. We had school the next day, and it was getting kind of late, you know. And it was about, I don't know, the 13th or 14th inning maybe. The Giants get the first two guys on, and I just wanted to go home. And the Bears go, nah, we're going to stay, you know. So the Giants get the first two guys on, and I'm saying, yeah, watch this triple play. And son of a gun. First and second, both guys are running on the pitch. Line drive to Roy McMillan. Steps on second, throws to first, triple play. And I was sitting there for 2 more hours. I mean, what a night that was.
Well, I was at that 25-inning game in 1974, but I left after the 9th inning when it was tied because I had to go to work the next day. I got home, and I watched it through the 17th inning. I turned the TV off. I went to sleep. And the game ended against the Cardinals. The game ended at after 3 in the morning. And they showed, they would occasionally go into the Kindness Corner room, and Ralph would be sleeping there. They had to keep they had this policy of keeping the advanced windows open until after the game. So all these people were sitting in booths there,
half asleep.
Yeah.
Great.
And when I went to get tickets into for the 3 games in 1973 World Series, I left at 4:30 in the morning. I went to Gate D because I figured everybody coming off the subway would go to Gate E, which was the first one. And I got my tickets at 9:05 when they opened up. And I went to work. But I was 30 years old.
You know, interesting. The only World Series game I've ever attended in person was, as opposed to having somebody else attend in my name, I guess that means, was in '73 in Oakland in game number 6 that they lost, and I knew they'd lose the next day. That was the worst loss I've ever taken as a fan.
Yeah, Seaver lost that game, and Matlock lost the next day.
Yeah, and I knew they'd lose, and they'd lose the next day, and that was not fun.
Well, those A's teams won when they had to, and if Finley didn't mess up Catfish Hunter's contract, and they didn't have free agency come in, they could have won for a number of years.
Yes, and they could have won the year after in '75. Finley was on vacation somewhere, and they needed to pick up some guys, and they couldn't get his permission to do so for down the stretch, and they ended up losing in the playoffs. And
I saw 20
one more year.
I saw 29 World Series games in my most of in the 69 to 78. I saw 27 games, and they were all in either New York with the Yankees or the Mets, or Baltimore or Cincinnati.
Hey, anybody listening out there, we grew up thinking, the 3 of us grew up thinking that it was a birthright that the World Series was played in our city.
Oh, yeah.
It was just because literally from the time I can remember, which actually that was last Thursday, but even back then,
Right, from the early 50s
every year
on.
from the time we were kids.
Literally
every year.
1949 through 1956, the only non-New York teams to make it were the 50 Phillies and the 54 Indians, and both of them were swept in 4 games. So,
right.
1949,
Let alone
1956, every World Series game was won by either the Yankees, Dodgers, or Giants.
Wow.
That's...
we were kind of lucky. It was Don Larson's birthday the other day, his 87th birthday. We feel a little old with that one. And I was reminded that I came home from school on October 8th or October 6th, whatever it was, and watched the last few games in my mother's living room. And she told me a story that day. We watched the last few innings of the perfect game, and she told me the story that my grandfather, her father, copped tickets in 1939 to go to the game where Lou Gehrig gave the speech. He's the luckiest man in the world. Took my mother with him as a 19-year-old kid, and then we watched the last few games. Yogi running into Lawson's arms at the end. That was all the memories I have with my mother that I can talk about. That was about as cool as any of them. So,
it's amazing.
Baseball's a wonderful thing.
It's amazing because Lawson was 81 and 91 in his career, and he was 3 and 21 with the 54 Orioles, and 1 and 10, I think, with the 60 A's. So if he wasn't pitched that perfect game, he would have been totally obscure.
You know, I'll tell you something. He was a damn good pitcher, a damn good relief pitcher with the Giants.
I'll tell you a funny story. I had to research this a number of years ago for somebody, that he and Sal Magley were the only 2 players to be teammates of Willie Mays, Mickey Mantle, and Duke Snider. And Larson got it because Larson pitched a handful of games in 1964 with the Giants, and that was the year that Duke Snider played with them and finished up.
Right. I saw a picture on the internet of him and Mays in giant uniforms standing next to each other.
Yeah.
Didn't look right.
No.
You know, some guys just Spahn never looked right. I liked him in a Mets uniform.
The Yogi.
Right, but they just didn't. It classed up the place, I'll tell you that. And one of you mentioned Roy McMillan a few moments ago.
Yeah, on that triple play. Mm-hmm.
McMillan tutored Harrelson quite a bit. He was solid, still solid when they got him. And that was, turned it around a little bit for them. You felt like they had something because shortstop was horrible up till then for the Mets. Mm-hmm. And he tutored Harrelson, and, everything leads from here to there to get to 69. But I think that was a big part of it, Roy McMillan, because just the organization took a turn from there. They had some horrible ball players early on.
No question.
Yeah, it was horrible watching. Hey guys, this is terrific. John Delcos didn't make it for one reason or another.
His column today was about Terry Collins. He thinks
that he says Terry Collins will probably end up staying. What do you guys say?
Probably.
Well,
under contract, most teams now don't want to pay managers for not managing.
Okay.
Well, I think it depends if they get into the playoffs or not. But if they don't, I don't know. The thing that he stressed and the thing that everybody in New York says is that the players still play for him. He has not lost the clubhouse, and that is a big thing. So,
absolutely that.
So I get the impression that even if they just miss one of the wild cards, you can't blame all of it on him because of all the injuries. So, doesn't he have another year on his contract anyway? I think he does. I think they gave him 2 years. So I think he'll be back either way. Unless they completely collapse, which I don't think they will.
I hope this isn't one of those years where we look back and say, "Oh, if it weren't for the injuries, they really could have been something."
Yeah.
Well, there's so many injuries.
You made a very interesting point when we were chatting earlier in the week about Cespedes' situation, how that may end up helping them in re-signing.
Oh, well, I mean, the way he's being portrayed, people out of town, with the golf playing and I don't know how he ever won a Gold Glove in Detroit, from what I've seen. I don't know.
Well, I saw him in Oakland, and I think he's been screwed around by going from center to left, having to go to center to left and back.
All right, but then again, he's also been on. He's been on 14.
Rafael Palmeiro Golden Glove. He played like 30 games at first base that season. The rest of the year, he was a DH. They gave him a Golden Glove. So since then, I don't put any stock into that at all.
With all the off-the-field stuff and the injuries, I'm thinking that other teams are looking at that saying, I'm not paying this guy $25 million. So
what's going on off the field? I'm out of the loop from that. What's going on off the field?
Oh, well, it was the golf business.
What is that about? No,
well,
I heard about it, but
golf.
Is it a golf cart or?
No, he likes playing golf, and he had the quad injury, and like a few days ago, like just before he went on the DL,
right?
He played golf with Kevin Millar. Kevin Millar took a picture and put it on Facebook. And, him and Cespedes and Kevin Millar out at the golf course when he's too hurt to play baseball. So, that didn't go over well here.
No.
Here. Didn't go over well in New York. And,
that's right.
And so I'm just saying in the long run, other GMs may look at the whole picture and say, I'm not giving this guy $25, $30 million a year. So when it comes to his time to opt out or opt in, how many other choices are there going to be? That was what I was getting at earlier.
Right.
He might have to.
Which is a very excellent point.
Yep.
He also ran out a ground ball that brought Collins to his feet the other day. He went flat out, ran out a ball.
He smelled a base hit. Yeah. See, when he hits a ground ball and he knows he's going to be out, he's not tearing it down the line. But that particular hit that you're referring to, he actually beat out. He thought he could beat it out, and it's just, I guess, you smell a hit, you're going to be safe.
You're an athlete, you just go for it.
Instinct.
But,
So
I listened to some doctor that said that the torque that a ball player uses when he's playing golf can be very, very violent. And he says if a player has a quad injury, it's best for them not to play golf.
Oh.
But most players have it. A lot of players have that written into the contract that they can't do this and they can't do that during the season. And obviously, Cespedes doesn't have any sort of restriction in his contract about playing golf.
No.
Okay. Thank you, gentlemen. it is, as usual, a pleasure, and I want to implore you all to just keep on keeping on. Listen, Marty.
See you next time.
Take care, Marty.
Next time, gentlemen.
Take care, Ralph.
All right. Always a pleasure.
Okay.
Thanks, guys.
Nice talk. Bye-bye.
Adios, everybody.